place, I snatched 5 bathing suits. All Martins.
Take your best shot! I'm wearing 17 layers!
I brought this on myself.
And we are back. Once again, back to that series that, I don't know, somehow became popular all of a sudden last episode? I don't know, maybe there was some sort of psychotic outbreak or something, and people were like, you know what I need? Mediocre Pokemon content. Let's follow that up with some more mediocre content. Today we're doing water types in Pokemon Emerald, which is actually my first Emerald run, and, you know, famously, there are a lot of water types in Pokemon Emerald. How many water types are there? Well, look, there's so many I haven't actually bothered to count them. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, usually I just show like, oh, here's every single catch, even if I don't use the Pokemon. I'm not doing that. There are Pokemon that I'm not going to bother catching, and there are Pokemon that I'm not going to bother using if I do catch them, so I don't know if I'm actually going to show them, because there's just too many. Like, there's too much water in this game. Please remove 6. I think, unlike some of the previous runs we've done, this one is going to be pretty easy. We're putting the training wheels back on the bike and just taking a nice leisurely stroll. Because a water type run in a game like Emerald, where there's a lot of water types and they're all really strong, it's about as easy as these sorts of challenges get. It's just gonna be a nice, simple one. But hey, I might be wrong, who knows, I haven't actually played it yet. For the second time, though, we start with our starter, which I've named Seymour. Seymour the Mudkip. Yeah, I love The Simpsons, if you can't tell, so this episode we're doing side characters from The Simpsons show, because you know what? This is my show. It's my show. I can make this as Simpsons-ified as I want. Mudkip is careful, which actually really fits the character it's named after, and that means less special attack, more special defense, which is fine. Weaker water guns and surfs are bad, but this is a bulky Pokemon, I like having more bulk, and by the end of the game, I just want this thing to like an Earthquake, because it's going to be our main physical option. As always, May's pretty easy, and then we have 2 new Pokemon to catch. Our first new Pokemon is Wingull, which I've named Sea Captain. And then right after we get Lotad, named Lionel Hutz. Wingull is Gentle Nature, which is more Spadef, less defense. That's like a terrible nature that I hate, because it's just like, why? What's the point? And Lotad is Jolly, minus attack plus speed, which is a pretty bad ability for it. Like, both of these Pokemon, like, they're good and they're bad. They're good because they are neutral to types that water's weak to, with Pelipper being neutral to grass and Lotad being neutral to both grass and electric, those being the only 2 types water's, you know, actually weak to, so that's pretty cool. But they're bad because, well, they're kind of bad Pokemon. They become Pelipper and Ludicolo respectively, and Pelipper's just an mon in terms of its stats and move pool, and there's a better water flying type you get pretty soon, even though it doesn't have any flying moves, but Pelipper's got a terrible attack stat, so it's not really going to use it. And Ludicolo just has garbage moves. Like, it learns, obviously, the good TM moves, but its level up moves are horrible, and the only grass moves it learns are via TM. And because it's a grass type in Gen 3, that means its best stab is Giga Drain, which is just, like, bad. 60 base power, gross. And also, Lombre stats are horrible, like, they're worse than you think. It's got 340 base stats, and Mudkip has 310 for comparison, right? It's just not good, and it has to be a Lombre for a very long time, because you do not get a Water Stone for a very long time. We also go to Route 104 and catch a Marill. Now the thing with Marill is you really, and I mean really, want it to be huge power, or is it pure power? It's the same ability, the one that doubles its attack. And the one we got is Thick Fat. Which, like, yeah, that's a great ability on, like, any other Pokemon, but Azumarill and Marill have terrible stats, so they need huge power to be good. Azumarill with huge power is a really good roulette sweeper in the mid-game. It really cleans up stuff. But Azumarill with Thick Fat It's good for one fight and one fight only, which is really annoying, but it is what it is. The nature is bashful, which is neutral stat gains. It's just not good, but I am talking about it, so it is going to be featured, so, you know, that's nice. Good on you, Meryl, it's your participation trophy. All that's left to do is grind for Roxanne, and whilst I was doing that, Lotad evolved into Lombre, whilst I wasn't recording, so have the picture instead, oh well. Look, Roxanne, rock type, isn't going to be that difficult, although I will say Nosepass will be surprisingly tough, because Nosepass, not being quite weak to water and having really good stats for a Pokemon at this point, is pretty tough, and despite its bad attack, Rock Tomb's still going to hit really hard, so this might be slightly trickier than you all think. It's time to fight Roxanne, and honestly her first two Pokemon, it's a joke. The Geodude's going to be knocked out by a water gun, nothing to worry about there. So the trick is Nosepass. And what I decided to do against Nosepass, when you see it as I kill the first two Geodude, is to click Mud Slap. Mud Slap is not going to do much damage, because Mudkip's not even ground type yet, but it might make Rock Tomb miss, which it did. Rock Tomb is only 80 base power, and it missed a second time. That's good, it heals with the Orange Berry. Misses a third freaking time, Potion, but this water gun is doing a decent amount of damage, and a crit, and it's over. Okay. That was really lucky. Although, I think that was fine. I probably could have Mud Slapped one or two more times, but turns out I didn't need to. And we get to see Mudkip evolve into Marsh Stomp. I really love it. I love it when Pokemon evolve after a gym battle. It really makes it feel like you're in the anime. But we've got Marsh Stomp, and that's that. Right after the Rock Gym, we fight May, but we kind of just kick her ass with Wingull, so we're going to speed right through that and go to Dooford Town, where we get the Alderod and two new Pokemon. We're one gym down, and we're already catching our fifth Pokemon, which is kind of crazy, and that's Chief Wiggum the Magikarp. This Magikarp has a naive nature, which means less special defense, but more speed, which is honestly pretty good. Gyarados likes to be fast. Because yes, this evolves into Gyarados, and I'm sure you all know that. This is going to be Gyarados' first appearance on the channel, the first of many, because it's in literally every single game except the Gen 5 games, which is kind of crazy, and it's going to be used in a lot of them because it's Gyarados and it's good. This is the better water flying that I mentioned that's going to be better than Pelipper. This Pokemon is going to carry us really hard. After the third gym leader anyway, because it doesn't evolve until level 20, so it's not going to be usable in time for Brawly, and it's not going anywhere near Watson, let me tell you. I like my Gyarados, I don't want it to die. And our sixth Pokemon, before Gym 2, there's that many Water-type Pokemon, it's Tentacool. This Tentacool is adamant, and I've named it Selma. Look, the nature does fit the name pretty well. Actually, Naive does as well for Chief Wiggum, huh? But Adamant is a terrible nature Tentacruel. You do not want more attack, less special attack on a Tentacruel, especially before Gen 4. I think its only physical move, like its only actual physical move is, well, there's obviously Return, there's Wrap, and then there's the poison type attacks like Acid and Sludge Bomb and Poison Sting. Not good stuff. But Tentacruel is a really good Pokemon and will be useful. It's another Pokemon that's neutral to grass. Actually, I think all of my Pokemon besides Marshtomp are neutral to grass, which is pretty good. Actually, no, Meryl isn't. Yeah, so I've got two actual weaknesses to grass on a mono water team. That's kind of funny. God, grass is bad before Gen 4. Look out for the upcoming grass runs. Grass is my favourite type too, it's kind of sad. It's Brawly time. Now, the level cap is level 19, so none of our people have evolved, so we're going to leave with the C cap then and just click Wing Attack to just hit everything super effectively. Over half is really good. Hopefully we kill through the bulk up, and we do, that's great. In comes Metatite, and that's my favourite Pokemon in anything ever, because it just has Focus Punch. But it dies, and then holy shit. Okay, that's good luck. We crit that Wing Attack. And there's a Citrus Berry. We hit another Wing Attack, it almost dies, but doesn't. Reversal does a lot. and then we click Wing Attack, and I decide to make the very brave and stupid decision of clicking Wing Attack again, and we're done. I got really lucky there. I don't think the luck mattered too much. We could probably smash it out with Marsh Stomp by the end there. The really tough fight is the third gym, the Electric-type gym leader. We're really going to need to rely on Marsh Stomp and Lombre to muscle through that one for us. But before that big challenge, we've got the big challenge for speedrunners. That is May 2, or 3 technically, I guess. We leave with Lionel Hutz, and then we, I don't know, sit there, contemplate philosophy, something, I don't know. We are leading with Lionel Hutz to eventually click Fake Out. I think the plan here is Lionel Hutz should just come in, do as much as it really can, then like, I don't know, switch to Wingull at some point. Not now, though. Don't do it now. Okay, Swift. Cool. Supersonic Mist. Right, we Astonish. Bam. Okay, now I should stay in to fight Slugma, but I don't think I do. I think for some reason I just go straight into Sea Captain. I'm really not taking this run as seriously as I should. The Rock Throw from Slugma, which I forgot it had, but it missed. Water Gun and it's down. Okay, now we're down to Wingull versus Skeptile. Pursuit does a lot of damage, but Wing Attack is going to 2-hit KO, absorb 10 health left, and I think that Rock Throw mattered. Jesus, okay. I need to wake the fuck up and start playing the game right, or I'm about to completely mess up, dear lord. Will I learn from my mistakes? Find out. Soon. Literally 2 fights later, Chief Wiggum evolves into Gyarados. That's nice. It will now carry us. Well, soon. We've got Watson first, and Watson is difficult. C, we've only got Lombre, Mr. Lionel Hutz, and Seymour. To actually beat him, because everything else will get destroyed, especially the Sea Captain and Chief Wiggum. Like, electric moves will just destroy it. So, it's rough. What also sucks is that the lead Voltorb has self-destruct, so I can't rely on lead Marsh Stomp just kind of sitting there, not taking much damage, and just killing everything. I need Lombre to take out the Voltorb, and that's incredibly risky. If it explodes on me, I'm probably dead. But there's nothing I can really do about that, so I think I just have to roll with it and hope it doesn't click self-destruct ever. But it is genuinely possible that we might lose Lombre here, which would suck. Because as much shit as I've been giving Lionel Hutz for being a bad grass type, it's a grass type. It's probably going to be our best Pokemon at beating other water types, which is pretty important given who the champion is. Alrighty, it's Watson time, and we've got Lombre, the Lionel Hutz, in the lead, and it's got a Cherry Berry for paralysis. All it needs to do is beat Voltorb. So it's going to click Fake Out eventually. I think I was worried that it might get paralyzed or something, but then I remembered I've got a Paralysis Cure Berry. Now we can click Ancient Nature Power. That critical hit sparks rough. Hope... Okay. Well, we're gonna one-shot Electrike and also the Magneton, though it will hit us with Supersonic, but man, that's rough. You know, I was making fun of Ludicolo, but we needed it. And, okay, I'm just gonna spoil... It's gonna take a while, just with all the healing Watson's got, but we are gonna beat this Manectric. It doesn't have anything to hit us really well, and we're just doing so much damage with Mud Shot. But, like... Man, that's sad. I do like Ludicolo, even though it is, again, a bad cross type. So that's rough. But I don't know what I could have done there. Like, I could not have had Marshtomp get exploded. Like, I just couldn't have. Oh, well. But look, we beat him, we got out of there, we've only lost one Pokemon. That'll have to do. Goodbye, Mr. Hutz. You were the greatest bad lawyer of all time. Well, that sucks. There is some good news. The Sea Captain evolves into Pelipper right after Watson, which is pretty cool. It's a very good Pokemon for this point of the game. And also, well, things are going to get really easy for the next little bit. We're fighting Team Magma soon, which has a lot of Fire-type Pokemon, and then we fight the Fire-type gym leader. She's tough, usually, but with Water types, we should be fine. So that's nice. Maxie was really easy, and we led with Pelipper because it has Keen Eye, so Sand Attack won't work. We miss with a few Supersonics, then just click Water Gun until we're almost down. Then we switch in Gyarados, and Gyarados proceeds to beat every Pokemon because it is the carry here. But let's not talk about that, let's talk about Flannery that's coming up. Now, you can actually see on screen I've got the EXP share on Tentacool, and I'm also going to be leveling up Marill into an Azumarill. Why? Well, because both of them will have access to Bubble Beam, and they're also both going to be needed for the normal type gym, but the Bubble Beam will give us a strong attack to hit all of Flannery's Pokemon with. That's better than Water Gun. Plus, I like using these two against Flannery, because just in case that lovely Pokemon cheese happens and we get, like, crit destroyed, then oh well, we've lost Thick Fat Azumarill and an Adamant Tentacool, oh no. Speaking of Thick Fat Azumarill though, here's some general advice though. If you are just Nuzlocking Emerald, and you have a Thick Fat Azumarill, use it for this fight, it's worth it. The sun-boosted overheats that Camerupt and Torkoal throw out are so strong that even the resists fall to it, but Azumarill is decently bulky and quad resists fire, making it perfect for taking out Torkoal and Camerupt. I highly recommend it. And that's what you're seeing now because it was really easy. We led with Tentacool, clicked Bubble Beam a few times, switched into Azumarill, clicked Bubble Beam with that as well, and we won. Nice and easy. And honestly, it's good that I actually got to use Azumarill, because, like, god, it's bad without huge power, but for this specific fight, 10 out of 10. But there's really bugger all game between Flannery and Norman, and Norman is always difficult. Whilst grinding for Norman, there isn't actually that much of a level difference between Norman and Flannery, so we're keeping the same team, but Tentacool evolves into Tentacruel, which is pretty nice. And heading into Norman, we're going to have 5 decent Pokemon: Tentacruel, Azumarill, Pelipper, Marshtomp, and Gyarados. They're all pretty good, but Norman is and will always be an issue in Nuzlocke, and especially monotype Nuzlocke. He is difficult, and I can't see it being any different this run. Without further ado, we gotta fight Norman. So I've chosen Gyarados to lead because it can intimidate, and also its Dragon Rage should hopefully 2-hit KO Spinder. It doesn't have the best moves at the moment. Dragon Rage will 2-hit KO Spinder, so that's pretty good. We can take it out nice and easily. And they'll bring in Vigoroth next, I believe. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I think we can just probably 1v1 this, so I'm just going to keep clicking Dragon Rage. It is going to be a 3-hit KO, but we click Bite. Now Bite, it doesn't get the flinch, but it gets the flinch, but it also denies the healing, and that's what we want to do here. We managed to take down Vigoroth with 61 health left, and we're going to Dragon Rage again. We shouldn't die, and we really don't want this Pokemon to Belly Drum. It doesn't, it clicks Slash, and at this point, if Slash crits, we're going to die, so we go into Selma to take it on. Selma can click Bubble Beam, it's going to be a 3-hit KO as well. Look, Headbutt does a lot of damage. I just realised Lanoon has 3 moves that are base 70 power and they're all normal type. Well, we Bubble Beam twice, and if... oh. Okay, we got crit by fucking Slash. That's rough. Okay, yeah, it's just, that's difficult. So, what we can probably do is bring in Jessica Lovejoy, and we could click Bubble Beam, but I don't think that'll be a 3 KO. Instead, I'm going to be a bit cheeky, go Defense Curl Rollout, and this all looks good. 1 hit, Hyper Potion, that's going to be a 2-hit, 3-hit, meaning that the Slaking, the lost Pokemon, is staring down the barrel of a 4-hit Rollout. And then it counters us and then we die. Oh my god, I've just lost 2 Pokemon. But, good news, this fight's done. See, we have Protect on the Sea Captain, so we can time it perfectly to match with the loafing around from slacking its Truant ability, so it can literally never hit us. So, while we do this, I guess I'm gonna just talk about that fight, because that sucked. Losing 2 Pokemon does suck. Granted, Azumarill was probably coming to the end of its shelf life, but losing the Tentacruel is pretty bad. Honestly, it's a decent shot. It's like, it was probably in the top 8 Pokemon, I'd say, or maybe top 9 or 10, regardless. Like, yeah, that's sad. But positively, we are about to get a whole bunch of Pokemon, because now that we've beaten Norman, we have access to both Surf and the Good Rod. So we're going to have an influx of new Pokemon coming in, and we'll have a quick little run through the ones that are going to matter. Now that we've defeated Norman, we get access to both Surf and the Good Rod, which really opens up our options for Pokemon. We lost 2 Pokemon in that Norman fight, and there are 3 very good Pokemon we can replace them with. And we're going to catch them one after the other. First is Carvanha, which I named Patty. Its ability is Rough Skin, and its nature is Adamant. Now, if this were Gen 4 and onwards, this would be amazing, but this is before the physical special split, and both of Carvanha's stabs are special, so Adamant isn't great. Carvanha becomes Sharpedo, and it's a pretty, let's say, interesting Pokemon. It's got a lot of attack and speed and special attack, and no defenses. The next Pokemon we catch is Barboach, which I name Mole Man. It is Impish, which is less special attack, more defense, which is pretty fine, and its ability is Oblivious. It's a water ground type, and is just an objectively worse Pokemon than Marshtomp / Swampert, even when it evolves into Whiscash. But fortunately, water ground is just such a juiced type that we can probably carry both for a while, and it's fine. Having another electric resist would be quite cool. So we're definitely using this one. And then the last catch we have is Corphish, which I name Crabapple because, you know, yeah. It's calm nature with Hypercutter, so less attack, more special defense. Hypercutter prevents attack from being lowered from stuff like Intimidate and Growl. Again, after Gen 3 that would be a terrible nature, but because both of its stabs are special, therefore it's looking pretty good. This is an okay Pokemon, and it's actually really similar to Sharpedo. Like, crazily similar. The fact that these 2 Pokemon are in the same generation and are so weirdly similar is fucking wild. They both have 120 attack, they're both Water Dark, they both have similar HP, with Sharpedo having 70 and Crawdon having 63, and similar special attack, with Sharpedo having 95 and Crawdon having 90. It's insane that these 2 are so similar, but we've got room for one more Pokemon. So which one of Carvanha / Sharpedo and Corphish / Crawdon are we going to use? Well, let's talk about what each of them has. Sharpedo has a juicy speed stat of 95, which is quite neat, and it does have slightly more special attack. It's also got Rough Skin, which is a pretty good ability, especially compared to Hypercutter, and it is Adamant, which implies that it's a good physical attacker, but its physical move pool is fucking barren in this generation. Crawdon, on the other hand, has a couple of cool different moves. It's got Knock Off, which, you know, is a bit niche, but it's fun that it learns it via level up, and it's got Swords Dance. Plus its physical move pool is slightly better. It gets Sludge Bomb, it gets Brick Break, so, I don't know, maybe it can be a Swords Dancer with a minus attack nature. Also, Crawdon has a defense stat and a much better special defense stat, so even though it's not actually a bulky Pokemon, it can probably take a hit, whereas Sharpedo with its 40 defense and 40 special defense just fucking can't. Honestly, I took an embarrassingly long amount of time to figure out which of these 2 was going to be the better Pokemon. Like, it's a bit humiliating. Which do I pick? What do I want? Do I want Patty? Do I want Crabapple? I can't have both. I need to make a decision. I can only have one. Oh, fuck off. Keith Sheldon Productions presents Mon getting hit by Tri-Attack. Well, that fucking sucks. I put that much thought into which one I'd pick just for Barboach to die in its first battle. Huzzah! Alrighty, so I guess we'll use both of them, and they both level up at level 30 because, again, they're the same Pokemon. So, heading into the May fight, we've got Sharpedo, Crawdon, Gyarados, Pelipper, and Marshtomp. Pretty sick team. Can May stand up to it? Maybe. Alrighty, it is May time. Let's see what she's got. So she leads with Slugma, we lead with Crabapple, and in the rain, this Surf is mega killing it, which is nice. There's Grovyle, which is a bit of a threat, but we do have the 2 water flying types. Pelipper can come in and it can take it a little bit. It is going to actually die to this thing if I keep it in, and honestly, if that Leaf Blade crit, it would have died, so I'm playing a bit risky here. So we go into Gyarados, Chief Wiggum. The Intimidate doesn't matter because Leaf Blade's still a special attack. With Dragon Rage, we can finish off Grovyle, and we're actually faster. I did not expect that. And against Lombre, we can just click 2 oh no, we get faked out, never mind. Now we click 2 Dragon Rages, and it's over. Nice and simple. Look, unfortunately, May just isn't that big of a deal in Gen 3. But you know who is actually tough? Like, it's Winona. If she gets a couple of Dragon Dances in with that Altaria, which has an excellent stats and defensive profile for this point in the game, it's over. Like, we can maybe Intimidate cycle, but honestly, I'm a bit worried about this one. I cannot stress how scared I am of Winona. Like, I'm terrified of her, to the point where I spent a bunch of money to get Ice Beam and Thunderbolt from the Game Corner. We teach Thunderbolt to Gyarados, because it's the only Pokemon that can learn Thunderbolt, and we teach Ice Beam to Pelipper, because I think both the Water Flying is going to be pretty important in this fight, and they can both actually take a hit from her Pokemon. We're going to teach it over Protect. I don't know, I'm a bit worried. Altaria, it's got Dragon Dance, its Earthquake can't hit any of my Pokemon, but with enough Dragon Dances, and it's a very bulky Pokemon, it could swipe us. Well, it could sweep us. I said swipe. I'm dumb. Now here's me, speaking of me being dumb, here's me stumbling and bumbling through the damn puzzles, like I'm walking like a drunk person. It's insane. Let's hope I'm not drunk for the fight, though. So, whenever we lead Swablu, we lead Chief Wiggum, and we click Thunderbolt, and this is an awful mistake. We don't get punished for it, because Swablu has Mirror Move, but that was so dumb of me. We're supposed to Dragon Rage, then Thunderbolt. 2 Thunderbolts, though, does wipe it out. We're down to Perish 2, but we gotta switch out, because we don't do anything against Tropius, and in comes Pelipper. Aerial Ace does Bugger All, and Ice Beam. It OHKOs with the crit. I don't know if the crit mattered. Tropius is a bit bulky. When I war against this Pelipper, and this Pelipper loves clicking Protect, so I'm going to click Stockpile, Ice Beam, and we're supposed to click Stockpile, but we click Surf for some reason here, because, I don't know, I'm dumb. We need as much bulk as possible. We click Ice Beam again, Aerial Ace, and then we click Stockpile again, expecting another Protect, but it doesn't Protect. Ice Beam again, and yeah, we really should have the 3rd Stockpile for more defense, but oh well. We click Surf, and that's not going to be a 2 Akira, and this is dodgy, but that crit is huge. That crit is intense. That means we can safely Ice Beam here. Altaria Dragon Dances, Ice Beam almost kills it, and then Citrus Berry gets it out of healing range. That is absolutely perfect. That's amazing. This is incredible. We can go into Gyarados. Gyarados lowers the attack with Intimidate. Aerial Ace does nothing, and Dragon Rage will finish it off. And that was Winona. Holy crap. We got very lucky there, but we managed to clutch this one out. Oof. With just Gyarados and Pelipper too, that was pretty cool. I'm really happy about that, but we've got a strong team. We've got a really strong team. And our team only gets stronger when Marshtomp evolves into Swampert. We are packing some firepower in the Team Magma base, let me tell you right now. So, that Maxi Goober has just awoken the God of the Sun or whatever, so we're gonna have to beat him up for it. This is the final Maxi fight, so let's go. His Pokemon actually out-level mine with a level 37 Mightyena. We click Surf with our Swampert takedown, it's gonna be a 2 at KO. Super Potion, like, it's not great, but it's still, yeah, like, it's gonna be a 2 at KO, so that was easy. Crobat comes in, we click Surf, Confuse Ray is annoying, hopefully we don't hit ourselves. We don't. Surf is only a... that might be a 4-hit KO. So we go into Chief Wiggum to lower the attack on Crobat. Crobat's a great Pokemon. It hits us with Air Cutter and Wing Attack, but we Thunderbolt. A second Thunderbolt will get rid of it. The Super Potion doesn't matter. It's still going to be a 2-hit KO. Wing Attack, okay. Crobat is down. And then there's finally Camerupt, but Camerupt can't really touch us, and it's 4 times weak to water moves. So we can Surf it, and there we go. Maxie's done. Beating Maxie opens up a lot of doors for us. Well, one door specifically. The door to the Greater Ocean. That means we can go to Moss Deep City, and we can get the Super Rod. And the Super Rod is super. Well, what it actually does is it means we can get some of the best Pokemon in the game. So there are two we're going to get right now. We're going to go to Lily Cove and fish there to catch a Staryu, which we can only get with the Super Rod. This Staryu we get has Natural Cure as its ability instead of Illuminate, which is fantastic. And its nature is Quirky, which is neutral, which is completely fine with us. Starmie has a lot of speed and a decent amount of special attack, but very importantly, a huge move pool. Surf, Psychic, Recover, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, that's amazing. It's going to be a Pokemon that provides us with a lot of coverage and really helps us in these tough fights coming up. Then we go to the Icy Shoal Cave and we grab Spheal. This Spheal is named Mo Sislak, and it is sassy, which means more special defense, less speed, which is pretty good, because it eventually becomes a Walrein. Walrein? I don't know how to pronounce it. Regardless, it becomes whatever I'm trying to say, and that's a pretty good Pokemon with a lot of bulk. It is also an Ice type, so having Stab Ice moves is going to be pretty cool for some of the fights coming up, and its ability is Thick Fat, giving it an extra resistance to Ice and Fire, meaning it takes 1/8 from Ice-type attacks. Dear lord, it is going to really help against Glacier. With Ned Flanders and Mo Sislak both being very good Pokemon, we have to get rid of one. So unfortunately, it's going to be Crawdaunt, Mr. Crabhands. We just don't need two Water Darks, and I feel like Sharpedo is probably better. I don't know, it's a tough one. Regardless, Spheal quickly becomes a Celio, which is pretty cool, and we level up our Pokemon pretty desperately before we fight Tate and Liza, who are a pretty strong fight, but water types are decent into it. Unfortunately, it is going to be a lot tougher than I originally thought, because you can't get a Water Stone to evolve Staryu into Starmie until after you've defeated them, which does make this difficult. Like, Tate and Liza in Emerald are a challenge, and I'm really worried about how we're going to be able to handle them. I cannot stress how difficult Tate and Liza are in basically every single run of Pokemon. We have a good matchup into them. Water's really good into 3 out of 4 of their Pokemon, and they're still scary. The double battle aspect is just, ugh. We decide to lead with Gyarados and Pelipper while they lead Xatu and Claydol. We are immune to Claydol's Earthquakes, and we can intimidate it as well, but we really just want to hit it with 2 attacks. I click Hydro Pump on Chief Wiggum, and that does hit, which is good, and we Surf to get rid of Claydol, and that's huge, because if we didn't do that, it would probably Light Screen, which would make everything really annoying to take out. So, good stuff. I then contemplate life for a second, and in comes Lunatone, and this turn takes a while. See, what I'm thinking about is, what happens if I miss the Hydro Pump from Chief Wiggum? I have to have Hydro Pump, because Hydro Pump isn't a spread move, it's not Surf, meaning its damage isn't spread out. We really want to focus down on some stuff. I think about if I want to hit Xatu, maybe Xatu can destroy the Sea Captain at this point, I don't know. But eventually, I decide to double into the Lunatone just because I want to deal with it. Psychic does a lot of damage to the Sea Captain, but Lunatone is down, and I think thanks to that crit, that's really lucky. We've had some really good gym fights at this point. So, Sea Captain's got to switch out, so I do, and I think I click Surf with Gyarados. In comes Patty, and Patty's going to provide some value. Honestly, I probably should have kept Crawdaunt for this fight. The Psychic doesn't do anything to Crawdaunt, to Sharpedo, there, and then I click Surf and Crunch into the Soul Rock, and that's amazing. Now, Xatu, I think, only has Psychic, so at this point we can just kill it for free. But just in case Crunch doesn't kill, we switch in Celio, because it can take a Psychic, but Sharpedo, Patty crunches it, it's done. There we go. Whew. We have managed to beat Tate and Liza. That was intense. But I played that really well, I think. Keeping Sharpedo in the back to absorb a Psychic was definitely the right play. Beating Tate and Liza means we now have access to Dive, which allows us to get both a Water Stone to evolve Staryu into Starmie, but also gives us a chance for a really good encounter. But also a really bad one. In the underwater area, we can either get Relicanth, Clamperl, or Chinchou. We really want Chinchou, we don't want the other two. And we get Clamperl. Sad times. Well, we got bad encounter luck underwater, but Dive also gets us a Water Stone, and we use it to make Staryu into Starmie, and now it's the best Pokemon on our team, most likely. It's gonna carry us through the last couple of fights. Alrighty, now we have to try to stop Maxie from waking up a Water Rain God. Oh, I mixed up the names, that's pretty embarrassing. Oh well. By the way, if you can hear a bell in the background, my cat has joined us, so, you know, say hi to the people, Carmella. Anyway, yeah, we led with the Sharpedo, we clicked Surf, Surf almost killed. Super Potion, we almost kill through that, the Swagger happens, and we hit ourselves in confusion, and because our defenses are so paper thin, we do basically half. So we gotta switch out, and we switch out into Swampert, Seymour, and then the takedown happens and my Yena dies from the recoil, so that's nice and fine. Crobat comes in. Now against Archie's Crobat it was a 4-hit KO, but against this Crobat it'll be a 3-hit KO because of the evolution. We're just going to keep clicking Surf. The crit wing attack's scary, but on 9 HP we managed to clutch it out, and thank God Sharpedo doesn't have Pursuit, otherwise I'd be sad. We go into Sizzlack, and the slashes are looking pretty scary, and we don't want to be crit. So we go out into Gyarados, there's a taunt, and then we click Thunderbolt, and that's the fight. Oh, hey cat. Say hello to the people. Calm? No, instead she's just sitting on my laptop. Okay. Good job, Calm. So they've woken up the Rain God. That's fun. But it's okay, we can sort this out. Oh, also, I forgot to record this, but Celio evolved into Walrein between this and the next big fight, so that's pretty good. We've now got a team of fully evolved Pokemon. Yay. So there's 2 weather gods fighting, but it's okay, I talked to a snake and it's all solved. But far more important, we catch our last new capture, and that's Horsey. Horsey, I named Brandine, or as I misspell it, Brambean. I genuinely don't remember if I corrected it or not at this point, and I don't want to check. It has Swift Swim as an ability, and it is bold, which means less attack, more defense. This is amazing. Kingdra is a very strong Pokemon. It's got a very bad move pool, but Swift Swim means it gets double speed and rain, as well as the standard thing of its water attacks getting a 50% increase in damage. So it's looking like it could be a really strong Rain Sweeper against some of the members of the Elite Four, especially since whilst it doesn't have many moves, it also gets access to Ice Beam. So it's looking pretty strong. By the way, I didn't catch a Feebas because I didn't want to spend 300 hours looking for one. I was going to look for one, but then something else took a whole bunch of time that you'll see later. Alrighty, now we've got to fight Juan. I think that's how you pronounce it. Juan. It's got to be Juan. I just don't know how to pronounce anything I'm finding out actually doing this. He's the Water-type gym leader. It's going to be easy and it's going to be tough. We lead with Patty the Sharpedo and they lead with Love Disc. We led with Sharpedo because we should be able to beat Love Disc. Strength does most to it. We get Sweet Kissed. Hyper Potion, they wasted on Love Disc, that's good. And holy crap, we almost died to the confusion. We hit ourselves again, and we're at 13 health. We're taking away like half our health every confusion hit. That's how paper thin Sharpedo is, so we have to switch out. That Love Disc one-on-ones us, and it frickin' confuses Ned Flander. That's annoying. We do manage to get through the confusion, surf it, and it's gone. In comes Crawdaunt. I don't think this Crawdaunt has any dark attacks. I don't remember if it does, but regardless, I switch into Chief Wiggum, hoping to intimidate it, but forgetting that Hypercutter doesn't let it happen. I click Thunderbolt, 2 Thunderbolts will get rid of it, and the Crab Hammer misses, so that's good. In comes Wishcash, and I decide that I can just 1v1 this. We use Strength. Rain Dance happens, but Strength, it's a critical hit. It was probably going to be a 2-shot anyway, but I don't think this had anything for us. In comes Celio, we click Thunderbolt. It's going to be a 2 KO. Body Slam, it's annoying. but it's down nice and quickly, leaving, I think, only his last Pokemon. Oh yeah, we also heal with the Shell Bell that I got. Now, we're down to his last Pokemon, and this is Kingdra, and Kingdra is really annoying. It's got Rest, it's got a Chesto Berry, and it's got Double Team. So we click Strength, and it doesn't do much, and we click it again, it doesn't do much, and its Ice Beam's doing a decent amount, and there's the Rest, and there's the Chesto Berry. This thing can very, very easily get out of hand by just clicking Double Team, Rest, and then Ice Beam and Water Pulse, which are its 2 attacking moves, and it's going to probably one-on-one our Gyarados, which is a bit scary, but it doesn't have great moves to hit water types. So that's nice. The crit, we almost die thanks to a crit. We have 2 Pokemon on really low health, but look at how little it's doing with Water Pulse to Starmie. So we can click Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt hits, Paralysis is great, but he just rests. We have to hope to hit a couple Thunderbolts. We've hit 2 in a row, that's pretty good. Miss 1, whatever. We hit a third, so we've hit 3 out of 4, which is good. And we just need to hit this one because it's going to be a 3 KO, and we do. That's good. Look, I'm glad we didn't have to, like, PP stall with Recover and just switching while it was resting, because that is something that we might have had to do to actually beat that Kingdra. So I'm glad it didn't go down that path. But that's all the gym's done. So all that's left is the Elite Four, right? Well, there's a Wally fight. I didn't actually do the final May fight, by the way, if you've noticed it's not here. But yeah, we've got a few things to do before the Elite Four. But we've made it to Evergrande City, and we can tackle Victory Road. That's really cool. We've got a Wally fight in here, and if we look at the team, every Pokemon besides, I think, Ned Flanders is going to have a very different moveset. And also, unfortunately, this Wally fight, if we can win it, is going to be the last hurrah for Pelipper, because it's just not cutting it anymore. It's Wally time. Honestly, I always really like the twist that he's the final rival. That's quite fun. We lead with Swampert, Old Seymour. They lead with Altaria, and this is a bad lead matchup. So we go straight into Ned Flanders, which is a mistake, because I realize I don't have Ice Beam yet, because I need Flash because of Victory Road Darkness. Altaria does Dragon Dance, and Thunderbolt will be a 4-hit KO, so we quickly switch out into Walrein, which can take 2 Aerial Aces, and hit it with an Aurora Borealis Beam. And it's quite weak, so it takes it out. Then in comes Roselia. Roselia's not a great Pokemon, so we can just Ice Beam to get rid of it, nice and easily. Then there's Magneton, and Magneton is hard-walled by Seymour, so the Supersonic Missing is cool, but I doubt it mattered. Mudshots and Oko, nice and simple. Then in comes Delcatty, and I think about it for a little bit, but then I just decide, yeah, this can take Delcatty. So I click Surf eventually. It's going to be a 2-hit KO easily. Charm lowers my attack, which is probably the worst thing it could click, because in comes Gardevoir, so I definitely have to switch. Fortunately, we have Patty, the Sharpedo, and the only move Gardevoir has to hit Patty is Future Sight, because Future Sight isn't a Psychic-type move in this gen. It double teams, then uses a couple of Hyper Potions, and you see, Future Sight does damage to Sharpedo. But we just keep crunching, we never miss, and it doesn't have anything to hit Sharpedo besides Future Sight, as I said, so we take it out pretty easily. It's a shame Pelipper never actually got used on its final battle, but hey, we now have to replace it, and we're replacing it with Brandine. And I actually did fix the nickname, I believe, so this isn't another white to the light situation. Brandine is really going to help us against a lot of the Elite Four with its Rain Dance attacking thing shenanigans. But in order to turn Horsey into... well, in order to turn Seadra into Kingdra, I should say, we need a Dragon Scale. Now, the only way to get a Dragon Scale in Emerald is off of a wild Pokemon. The best way to get it is going into Meteor Falls, going into the Bagon room, and using Thief against the Bagons. They have a 5% chance of holding a Dragon Scale, and there's a, I believe, 25 or possibly 20% encounter rate chance. So, if you're going at really fast speed like I am, this shouldn't take too much time to find it. But, let's check in with Live Keith to see how well that little search went, shall we?
This is a live recording because I need to express my frustrations about this whole horse shit. I have been doing this now for hours. I don't understand. I've watched an entire fucking season of Seinfeld. Oh my god, I got it! Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh! 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 I literally started counting at 6, like, I started counting after about, like, 20 goes, and I was at 67, and I was gonna bitch and moan, but I did it. I fucking did it. Yay!
Now that we finally have that dragon scale, we can evolve Horsey into Seadra, then trade for a Kingdra. And I should just state that I allow myself to do trade evolutions, but if an item is required, I need to get that item in-game. I think that this will make a lot of the more, almost impossible challenges a bit more possible. And I think it means we can use fun Pokemon that you don't usually get to use, like Kingdra. So I allow this sort of stuff. Some people may not like it, but eh. We get through most of Victory Road without incident, leveling up our guys, but then we get to the final challenge, and it's a very cool challenge. It's Cool Trainer Caitlin and Cool Trainer Quincy. What's the team? Well, it's a double battle that you have to do, where they have a Slaking and a Pokemon that can skill swap it. It's quite fun. This is one you always have to dance around. It's really scary and really dodgy. You have to really work around what the AI can do. You have to try to, take out Slaking whilst Gardevoir has skill swap, that sort of thing. But the Slaking's got crazy stats and Thunderbolt, and they've got full restores. But, I'm handling it. I'm doing pretty well in general. I switch into Patty. I'm ready to kick this team's ass, and I've positioned it perfectly so that a double attack will kill Slaking, and then we see the Mud Shot fucking miss. And the Mud Shot fucking missing, meaning Slaking can click Thunderbolt, and then it's gone. Patty's gone. I've lost Patty and Selma on this run. That's really annoying, because I played that really well. I know I'm patting myself on the back here, but I really did play around that frickin' well. And just nothing. That's really sad, but we managed to clean up the other two Pokemon without much incident, and that's it. Goodbye, Patty. Look, fortunately we do have Craboppel in the back, which is a Dark type, but it's not the Dark type I wanted. Sharpedo's cool. It's like a torpedo shark. Well, we've done our grinding, and before we attack the Elite Four and the Champion, let's have a look at our team and its moveset. So we've got Ned Flanders Starmie. It's got Surf, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Recover. This is your bread and butter Starmie set. Bolt Beam coverage, a stab, and recover. It makes a lot of sense. It's a really strong Pokemon, and it's going to do a lot for us. Crawdaunt is a Swords Dancer with Strength, Brick Break, and then Surf. It doesn't have a good Dark move, which is, annoying, but oh well. This Pokemon, I think, can do some good stuff. It can probably take a hit and then hit something really hard with Swords Dance. Take advantage of its 120 base attack, even though it's got the minus attack nature. I could see it being useful. Wolverine is our bulky Pokemon. It's got Surf and Ice Beam to do some damage with its dual stab. It's got Toxic, so it can outlast any other bulky Pokemon, and it's got Rest. This set is specifically designed for Glacier's team to 1v1 the other Walrein, I'll be completely honest with you. I think it's going to have some other good uses though. We can slap a Chesto Berry on it, so we can get an immediate rest, which is really strong. Swampert is Swampert. It's going to come in, it's going to hit its high power attacky moves, it's going to do damage, it's going to take hits pretty well. It's a Swampert, what do you want from it? Then we've got Kingdra. This is the Rain Dance, Surf, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump build. Really the only viable build. We don't have any good move to hit water types, which is annoying, but we can hit basically everything else. And Hydro Pump and Surf in the rain with Kingdra's pretty decent special attack are going to annihilate some Pokemon. So I think this will be really good against all the Elite Four, but maybe not the Champion. Then finally we have Gyarados, and Gyarados is kind of our win-con, with Dragon Dance, a really powerful setup move. It's got Surf, but it's also got Return and Earthquake, with its combination of great typing, great bulk, great ability of lowering attack. I think it can position into a lot of Pokemon that the Elite Four and the Champion have, Dragon Dance a few times, and just rush over the top of them. But you guys know the sets. There's going to be some changes as I go through, I think, but let's see how it all plays out. So we start against the Dark-type specialist, Sydney, and we're going to be leading Craboppel, mostly because With Swords Dance, it can maybe sweep, but honestly, it just resists dark and actually has a good move to hit all the dark types, and we don't have any other move to hit the dark types. So we lead it against Mighty Hyena, and it doesn't get intimidated because of Hypercutter, and we click Brick Break. We could set up, but I'm a bit worried about Sand Attack. We don't kill. Okay, Double Edge occurs, and Mighty Hyena is down. Now in comes Cacturne. Now Cacturne does actually have a grass move, Needle Arm, but it's only 60 base power because you can't power creep Hidden Power Grass. We Brick Break, assuming we kill it, and we do. Alrighty, and then in comes Shift Tree, which doesn't have a grass move. Like, it just doesn't even learn one naturally. And we click Swords Dance, and here's a spoiler warning for you all. We now win. We are faster than everything, and we Brick Break everything, and we one-hit KO everything. I did not expect that. Crawdaunt beats every single Pokemon on Sydney's team by itself. Good stuff. Maybe it is better than Sharpedo. Maybe I lucked into a better Pokemon. Alrighty, we can move on to the next one. The next Elite Four member is the second one, Phoebe, the Ghost-type specialist. I never got the pun with her name. Sydney as well, actually, to be honest. I don't know. She leads with Dusclops, we lead with Brandine. For some reason, we don't Rain Dance turn 1, even though it always clicks Protect. I think I was a bit rattled about Curse. So we kind of waste 2 Surfs because of pressure. We hit a second Surf, and there's a Shadow Punch, and it's a critical hit Shadow Punch. So it does 50 damage. But with a second Surf, that Dusclops is done. In comes the first Banette, which is the weaker of the two. And we're going to click Rain Dance. It shouldn't do too much. The bold nature is actually really coming into play with the extra defense. Minus special defense, which isn't that bad in this fight because Ghost is physical before Gen 4. Anyway, Surf Oko's Banette because it is not a bulky Pokemon. Sableye will come out. Surf will also Oko that. Nice and simple. And, just for good measure, the second stronger Banette is also going to be Oko'd by Surf. With a crit, maybe the crit mattered, I don't know. Anyway, in comes the Dusclops. We're going to click Hydro Pump because we're going to need a lot of damage to actually beat this thing, and it survives, which is kind of crazy. Ice Beam happens, the rain stops, and it heals up, so at this point I don't want to even bother risking Kingdra, so I have to switch it out. And I switch it out for Mo Sizzlack, that can probably take this on. Shadow Ball does a lot with a crit, not that much without a crit. We're faster, we Surf, and it's over. We've beaten half the Elite Four. That was pretty good. The new guys are really carrying us. First it was Crawdaunt, then it was Kingdra. If these trends continue, it'll be Mo's turn next, and to be honest, it genuinely might be Mo's turn next. Alrighty, so against Glacier, we're going to lead with Crawdaunt when we get it. I got the pun in Glacier's name, that one's clear. We're leading Crawdaunt because we can do what we did against Sydney. Click Swords Dance and click Brick Break on a lot of things. Celio was a slow Pokemon, so we are faster and it always clicks Hail turn 1, like always. We can Brick Break, and that's an Oko. That's pretty good. Then the second Celio comes out, and I think it's going to be very similar to what happened last time. Brick Break number 2, it's gone. That's honestly the only annoying thing about this fight is going to be the fact that the hail's going to make it a little bit longer. Now, against Glalie, I switch out. And you might be wondering, Keith, why would you switch out? You've got a +2 Crawdaunt. Well, you see, Glalie has Explosion. Like, well, that one does. And we want the minus attack, just in case. Now, I keep Gyarados in here when I shouldn't. I think about switching, but I keep it in. I click return, just because, hey, maybe it's not going to click Explosion here. But guess what happens? It explodes. And we just survive. The only reason we survived is because the hail stopped and because of Shell Bell. So, yeah. Anyway, in comes Mo Sizzlack, and this is what we built this Pokemon for. This is what we bought it for. This is why it's on the team. The first turn Body Slam Paralysis into the Paralysis is annoying, but eventually we're going to land the Toxic Heal. Now, Glacier does have full restores, but that's okay. We can outlast this thing. We click Surf. It does a little bit of damage, but like it's slowly chipping us away with Body Slam, so we click Rest. You know, giving us a little bit of leeway in case we get parried again. Alrighty, we're asleep, and now we wake up. This is going to take a while, but we are going to 1v1 it. We're going to miss a few times. We click Rest accidentally again, which isn't great. There's the Citrus Berry, and I think because of that Citrus Berry, it's going to line up, and also because I fell asleep, it's going to line up that Glacier is going to be able to use a full restore because it's in that range. Yep, that's annoying. Yeah, you guys get the drill. I'm speeding it up nice and quickly. So, speed, 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 speed. And we skip a lot of turns. I want to talk about how much I love Wall Rain, because ever since I was a kid, I've always just had this thing for it, an affinity for it. I don't know why. Honestly though, I think all the Pokemon on this team are pretty cool. I just realized at the end of the editing process I hadn't filled this in, so I'm singing a song. Welcome back to normal speed. We wake up and hit it with a crit surf, and BAM! Okay, now in comes Glalie, and Glalie isn't going to be that difficult. It's got Crunch to hit us. We click Surf. Now, we're not going to die even if we get crit, but just to be sure, I wanted to switch out. I switched into Crabopple. It started this fight. It can finish it. It takes Bugger All from Crunch and Ice Beam because it resists, Brick Break, and BAM! Glacier. It took a long time, but it really wasn't that annoying. 3 of the 4 Elite Four members are down. The next one, though, is Drake. And Drake has the strongest team and the highest level team. And honestly, I think his Kingdra is really scary. Let's see how it goes. Alrighty, it's time for Drake. Now, the thing with the Emerald Elite Four, I think it's actually just the Hoenn Elite Four in general, is they love clicking Protect turn 1, so you can usually abuse that. So I've led Brandine in order to click Rain Dance to abuse Protect, but I don't fucking do that and just click Ice Beam. And I click it again, and Protect again, so I guess it would have just drained all the Rain Dance turns anyway. But we Ice Beam the 3rd time, and Shelgon is O-Code. And I'm going to let you all in on a little secret. The same thing happens to Flygon, and then he brings in an Altaria, and the same thing's going to happen to it. And, well, let me just, you know, show that I'm a wizard and can see the future. There we go. And then, with Altaria gone, he brings in his 3rd Pokemon that's quite weak to Ice, and we click Ice Beam, and we outspeed it again. And it's down. Yeah, that went really well. I don't know why he didn't bring in Kingdra. Anyway, we Ice Beam Kingdra, and unlike all the other Pokemon, this is a 3-hit, possibly 4-hit KO, and Kingdra Dragon Dances, which is a bit scary. It then Smoke Screens, and we've got -1 accuracy, and we missed the Ice Beam. We go for another one, though. We are running out of Ice Beams. Body Slam does, like, okay damage. I still can't tell if it's a 3 or a 4-hit KO, but regardless, I go into Chief Wiggum, because the -1 attack is going to be pretty huge. Body Slam, it doesn't do that much, it Smoke Screens, and we miss the return, but we just click Return again. Body Slam paralyzes, this isn't looking great, but we hit the return, Kingdra's gone, and wow! Yeah, so Dragon types do not like Ice-type moves. They especially don't like them before Gen 4, when everything was quite weak to Ice. Actually, no, it's before Gen 5. Wow. Anyway, that's the Elite Four. I'm gonna rare candy up our guys so that they're at the Champions level now. But, god damn, it is so weird that we've done an Elite Four, like the whole Elite Four, with a Swampert and a Starmie on our team, and we haven't actually had to use either of them. They're usually just splashable Pokemon that go into every matchup, but we didn't need them here. Crazy. I think that's going to change up Wallace, though. Wallace is a Water-type champion. He's got a decent team. There are a lot of good Water types in Gen 3. You're seeing them right here. And a lot of our Pokemon struggle to actually beat Water types. Kingdra's got nothing for Water types. Walrein's got nothing for water types. Swampert is neutral to water types. It might be a bit tough, honestly. Time for the champion. And honestly, it's a bit cool that they're using the same type as us for their team. Before we get to Wallace, though, we put a magnet on Ned Flanders instead of the Nevermelt Ice, because we're going to be needing electric attacks a lot more than ice attacks in this battle. Let me tell you something. And as you can see from the preview, we're going to be leading Starmie, because we want to hit their lead, Wailord, with a very strong Thunderbolt, so it doesn't Water Spout us. We could still take it, but Water Spout from full health is a scary prospect because it's got like 150 base power at full health. We paralyze it as well, which is pretty hilarious, although it doesn't matter because it's likely going to use a full restore. Yep, that's fine, we can just Thunderbolt. And then we can probably Surf, given it Rain Danced, which, look, boosts the power of their water-type moves, but also our ones as well. So we Surf, and Wailord is down. Now, in comes Ludicolo, and Ludicolo has a really good defensive typing for, well, in general, but also for Ned Flanders, because it is neutral to both Ice Beam and Thunderbolt, and 4 times resists water. So we are going to have to switch out, and after thinking a little bit, I decided to go into Gyarados. We need a Grass neutral, because this does have Giga Drain. Ludicolo is a jerk and uses Double Team. I can't remember if this Ludicolo has Swift Swim or Rain Dance, though. Regardless, it's getting buffed by the rain, which is a bit scary. It also Leech Seeds us. The rain stops, which is good, so it doesn't matter. It Leech Seeds us, and I think it was Swift Swim based on the speeds, but I might be dumb. Anyway, 2 returns do manage to KO it through Leech Seed, and we managed to not miss through the Double Team. That's really good. In comes Tentacruel, and we could probably kill Tentacruel with Earthquake, but we are seeded, and we want to keep this Gyarados. So we go into Seymour, who shows up for the first time. Good job, Seymour. Oh, he got poisoned. Bad job, Seymour. Hydro Pump, it takes pretty well. Earthquake, and Tentacruel is no more. Okay, so we've beaten the first half of their team, but the big hitters are still in the back. Wishcash isn't that much of a big hitter, though. In fact, Wishcash is perfect, because we can bring in Chief Wiggum. Chief Wiggum intimidates the Wishcash, but that doesn't matter. I believe it's only got Surf and Earthquake to hit us, and Earthquake we're immune to, so we can click Dragon Dance. We click 1, it amnesias, but we're never hitting it with Surf. We click a second Dragon Dance, and let's see how much Surf does. A pitiful amount of damage. So we can click a third Dragon Dance, and I think we're gonna win. I think we're just gonna Dragon Dance up. 4 Dragon Dances. We want to do 4 Dragon Dances because there is still Intimidate Gyarados in the back. We want to be able to Oko Melodic. With 4 Dragon Dances, though, we're at +4 attack, +4 speed. Nothing's outspeeding us. And we Oko, and the Shell Bell heals off basically, I think, more than a Surf. In comes Gyarados, -1, we're at +3. This should still be enough, though. Return, and it's gone. It is Melodic versus the world. And the world in this situation is a Gyarados with +3 attack, firing off max power returns. And there it goes. We fucking did it. Good stuff. Man, that was fun. Water types are cool, and it also helps that we have a really cool team. Like, I think all of our Pokemon, I just like. Like, I just really like the designs of them. They're fun. It wasn't the hardest Elite Four, or the Champion, but it was nice that we got to shine a light on Pokemon that I didn't think I'd end up using. Like, I really didn't think Crawdaunt was a good Pokemon, but it turned out to be way better than Sharpedo would have, so that's pretty cool. I had a blast playing this game, eh? Like, I really did. I fucking love Gen 3, and I especially love Emerald. And this is our first Emerald run, because if you remember, the Psychic one was done in Ruby, and honestly, that was probably the biggest mistake I could have done. Like, yeah, I got Meta Type from it, but God, Ruby's worse than Emerald. Like, it's so much worse. So I think all of our runs, regardless of, like, Pokemon availability, is going to be an Emerald from now on. If we're doing, like, a Gen 3 Hoenn game anyway. We might do a Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire in the future. Who knows? We might do X and Y in the future. We might do Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Regardless, I hope you all had fun, because I really did. I thought that was a blast. You know, time for the generic YouTuber stuff of, like, comment, subscribe, validate my existence, send this to your father and mother on Father's and Mother's Day respectively instead of any gifts. Comment down below a type and a generation you really want to see me run, and heck, I might just run it. Honestly, these videos are really fun, and based on the reception of last one, fingers crossed we can repeat it. It's really cool, so look, I'm gonna keep making these as long as I can, because it's genuinely a blast to do. So yeah, see you all soon, and do it. Bye.